So recently there's been a lot of talk about the situation with running backs in the NFL. And I kind of wanted to just break that down today. So a lot of this conversation has been started off by Saquon Barkley and his contract situation, and also Josh Jacobs and his situation. Also Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott and a lot of the bigger contract running backs who have gotten released recently has also been driving a lot of this. But what got this mainly started was the situation with Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs, who both are two of the best running backs in the entire NFL, and their contracts expire, and they're both tagged. Now, the running back franchise tag is pretty minimal compared in terms of its value compared to a lot of the tags. It's actually gone down in value since 2015, as this tweet here shows. So the first major reason behind this and the current state of the running back market is Le'Veon Bell. Now, Le'Veon Bell obviously had his holdout with the Steelers and then forced his way out of there after being franchise tagged and after them refusing to give him a long-term contract. And after that, he signed with the Jets, 4 years, $52.5 million, $35 million guaranteed, and that contract was a complete disaster. 264 carries, 863 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's more than $60,000 a yard with the Jets. He didn't even play 2 seasons of that contract. And 3 years later, he's played on 3 different teams since then. He's out of the NFL. Didn't play a single game last season. He's doing influencer boxing now. In addition, there's a bunch of other running back contracts that have similarly influenced the market, which are like Ezekiel Elliott, Todd Gurley are the 2 biggest ones in terms of major running back contracts that have been complete disasters other than Le'Veon Bell. Dalvin Cook's contract has been fine, but the reason he's out of Minnesota now is a free agent. He's probably going to sign with Miami, but the reason he's a free agent currently is that his contract was too big. The second major reason behind the collapse of the running back market is that around the same time that the Le'Veon Bell contract and a lot of these other really big contracts came along, we saw a complete breakout of many late-round running backs at once into some of the best running backs in the league, like Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, Kareem Hunt, Tony Pollard. There's a lot of late-round running backs who came into being some of the best running backs in the entire NFL at once. And then you look at this, and for the past several years, at minimum half of the running backs, half of the top 10 rushing players in the league have been on their rookie contract and not on a long-term contract. In 2019, that was 9 out of the top 10 rushers, which is unbelievable. So you can see why teams don't want to pay running backs anymore. So this problem has obviously led to a lot of consideration of what can possibly be done to solve this situation and get running backs compensated more fairly. And a big driving factor behind this has been Austin Eckler. He's been really leading and organizing a lot of stuff to try to get a better market for running backs. He hosted a large Zoom meeting recently with a lot of the top running back talent in the league, and it really is a pretty bad situation they're in. I mean, Bijan Robinson, who's a rookie, is currently the highest paid running back this season, which is just not a viable situation. Now, there are a couple possible solutions for this. The first one, and the one that seems to have the most promise behind it, is giving running backs shorter rookie contracts, maybe 3 years instead of 4 years, and also no 5th-year option, which would probably lead to a lot less running backs getting drafted in the first round. But it's not like there are many running backs getting drafted in that round anyway, so there probably wouldn't be too much of an impact on that front. The second one is it's more expensive franchise tags for the running backs. You would give running backs, instead of the average of the top 5 highest paid players at that position, which is currently how the franchise tag is calculated, doing that, but then multiplying it by 1.5. So you'd end up with a substantially higher amount of money. And then also there's an option of removing tags for running backs. So what is the future of the running back market? I would imagine that there has to be some form of change here, because the current state is not really viable. You can't have Derrick Henry getting paid less by a substantial amount than Bijan Robinson, who's never played a snap in the league. That's not a viable way of doing things. And one thing that has happened since I've started the recording process on this is Saquon Barkley, who was holding out earlier, signing a new deal And this deal does not give you confidence that running backs are going to get better contracts going forward, because this contract is essentially, he gets the same amount of money as he would on a franchise tag, except there's $1 million in incentives. He can still be tagged next year again, so we could just be back in a situation with him next year again. And all of the incentives only apply if the Giants make the playoffs. So this is also not a viable way of doing things. So what I would imagine would happen is there's really two scenarios here. Either the running backs do somehow get some changes through so that they can be compensated more fairly, or they're just going to keep having their contracts decline in value. Because running back is a pretty replaceable position for most teams. Anyway, if you liked this video and the deep dive into the running back position, like and subscribe. Unfortunately for you, I do not have any other videos up at this time. So, yeah. But I will be uploading some soon. So, if you enjoyed this, stay tuned.